Significance of the Preamble to the Constitution of India. The Preamble to the Constitution of India is an introductory statement that sets out the objectives and guiding principles of the Constitution. It serves as a preface or an expression of the intent behind the Constitution's creation. Though not legally enforceable in itself, the Preamble holds significant importance in the interpretation of the Constitution, providing a clear understanding of the fundamental values and principles that guide the country's governance. The Preamble to the Indian Constitution reads as follows: We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, fraternity assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly this 26th day of November, 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. The significance of the Preamble. 1. Source of authority. The Preamble declares that the authority for the Constitution comes from we, the people of India. This emphasizes that the power of governance and the authority of the Constitution rest with the citizens of India, thus marking the Constitution as a product of the people's will rather than an imposed decree from a monarch or foreign ruler. 2. States the objectives of the Constitution. The Preamble outlines the core goals and values that the Constitution seeks to achieve. These objectives guide the functioning of the government and the interpretation of laws, ensuring that they align with these ideals. Justice. The Preamble emphasizes justice in three forms: social, economic, and political. This ensures that all citizens have access to equality and fairness in various aspects of their lives. Liberty. It guarantees freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. These liberties are fundamental rights and form the foundation for individual freedoms in India. Equality. The Preamble envisions a society where all citizens are treated equally, with equal opportunities in all fields, including education, employment, and public services. Fraternity. It seeks to promote a sense of brotherhood and national unity, assuring the dignity of individuals and ensuring the integrity of the nation. 3. Defines the nature of the Indian state. The Preamble describes the type of state that India aspires to be: sovereign. India is an independent state, free from external interference or control. Socialist. India aims to achieve economic equality and social justice by addressing the issues of poverty, inequality, and class disparity. Secular. India is a state with no official religion, ensuring freedom of religion to all its citizens and treating all religions equally. Democratic. India follows a democratic form of government where the people have the power to elect their representatives through universal adult suffrage. Republic. India has a system where the head of the state, the president, is elected and not a hereditary monarch. 4. Expression of the ideals of the Indian nation. The Preamble articulates the vision of a nation built on justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. These values form the foundation of the Indian political system and guide the policies, legislation, and functioning of the government. The Preamble reflects the values that inspired the Indian independence movement and the spirit of the Indian National Congress and Gandhian philosophy. 5. Interpretative guide. Although the Preamble is not enforceable in itself, it is often used as an interpretative guide to understand the spirit and purpose of the Constitution. It provides clarity on the general objectives that the Constitution seeks to achieve and has been referred to by courts to interpret the provisions of the Constitution in cases where the intent behind a particular provision is ambiguous. Is the Preamble part of the basic structure of the Constitution? The basic structure doctrine was established by the Supreme Court of India in the landmark case of Kesavananda Bharati v. State of Kerala, 1973. According to this doctrine, certain features of the Constitution are fundamental to its identity and cannot be amended or altered by the Parliament, even with a constitutional amendment. Preamble and the Basic Structure Doctrine. In the case of Berubari Union versus Union of India, 1960, the Supreme Court held that the preamble was not a part of the Constitution and it was not legally enforceable. However, in later cases, the court began to interpret the preamble as an essential component of the Constitution, reflecting the objectives and philosophy underlying the constitutional framework. The Kesavananda Bharati case, 1973, clarified that the preamble is part of the Constitution and, by extension, has an important role in interpreting its provisions. The court stated that the preamble can be used to identify the core values and objectives of the Constitution, and it should be consulted to understand the spirit of the Constitution. In Indira Gandhi versus Rajnarain, 1975, the court referred to the preamble as a guide to the interpretation of the Constitution. The judgment emphasized that the preamble contains the fundamental principles and philosophy of the Constitution, and any law or amendment that violates these principles would be unconstitutional. Moreover, in the Minerva Mills case, 1980, the Supreme Court reiterated that the basic structure of the Constitution includes the values expressed in the preamble, such as democracy, justice, liberty, and equality. This reinforces the idea that the preamble is an integral part of the Constitution's basic structure. Conclusion. The preamble to the Constitution of India holds significant symbolic and interpretive value. It serves as an introduction to the Constitution, laying out the fundamental objectives and guiding principles of the Indian state. It encapsulates the vision of the framers of the Constitution and is a statement of intent for the future of the country. While the preamble itself is not enforceable as a law, it plays a critical role in the interpretation of the Constitution and guides the courts in understanding its spirit. Furthermore, the preamble is indeed part of the basic structure of the Constitution, as confirmed by the Supreme Court in various judgments. The principles of sovereignty, socialism, secularism, democracy, republic, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity outlined in the preamble form the core of India's constitutional identity and cannot be altered or violated by any constitutional amendment that disturbs these fundamental values.